Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Horror and heartbreak.
He's a broken human being. He's a broken child.
A 19-year-old charged with 17 counts of murder in a shooting rampage that sent shockwaves across the country. And now we're learning the dark details into the warning signs that may have been missed. And as we come to you at 5 o'clock, there are a number of new developments happening this evening as the tragedy continues to unfold in South Florida.
Right off the top here, we've just learned from the Broward County Sheriff that the suspect has confessed to the shooting. Let's get you caught up with the very latest here. 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz was arraigned a short time ago. He's charged with 17 counts of murder. And now investigators are saying Cruz belonged to a white nationalist group and participated in paramilitary drills with them. His own defense attorney went as far as to say he's a, quote, broken human being. Wendy Woolfolk kicks off our coverage tonight from Parkland, Florida.
Devin, Kimberly, this is the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history where the suspect actually survived.
God of mercy, remember the survivors of this attack.
Another attack on a school, a community, a nation. 17 balloons, one for each life taken too soon. What should have been just a normal school day, now forever remembered in horror.
Screaming, we all started running, ran into our classrooms.
Teachers frantically trying to protect their students amid chaos.
And what was most frightening for me was watching these kids, texting their parents, telling their parents that they love them.
And beloved football coach Aaron Feist, a hero giving his own life to save others.
When Aaron Feist died, when he was killed, tragically, inhumanely, he did it protecting others. You can guarantee that because that's who Aaron Feist was.
As investigators pore over evidence inside this huge high school, still a crime scene, more red flags about the former student, now murder suspect, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, making his first appearance in court today.
You are charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder.
Expelled from school, ties to a white supremacist group, and troubling posts on social media about his obsession with guns.
The violence has to stop. We cannot lose another child in this country to violence in a school.
A sentiment undoubtedly shared by every parent, child, teacher, and student today. While authorities begin to officially identify the victims, Nicholas Cruz will remain in jail without bail. In Parkland, Florida, Wendy Woolfolk, Local 4.
All right, Wendy, now in the wake of the Florida shooting, Washington facing an all too familiar question. What can be done to prevent mass shootings? It's a question that puts gun control center stage at the Capitol. Blaine Alexander has more from the White House tonight. Blaine?
Well, hello to you from Washington. Today, there are condolences and words of comfort flowing from the White House and Capitol Hill. But around the country today, frustration that so far, not much has turned into action.
It has become a somber ritual
for the victims of the shooting in Florida.
In Washington, a moment of silence, while across the country, outcry after yet another school shooting.
Oh my God! Oh my God! President Trump, if you're watching, come here, look them in the face, and tell them that you're going to do something.
Today, President Trump offering words of comfort.
I want to speak now directly to America's children. You have people who care about you, who love you, and who will do anything at all to protect you.
In a tweet pointing to mental illness and signs missed by the community, but no mention of guns. A frustrating omission for many Democrats, including Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, whose community was rocked by the Sandy Hook school shooting.
If you are not working today to try to fix this, to try to stop these shootings, then you're an accomplice.
Florida Republican Marco Rubio offering this on gun laws.
There's not an easy proposal out there, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to find one.
Back in his home state,
Congress is failing us and the government is failing us, and something has to be done.
Hoping this time Washington will send more than thoughts and prayers.
And President Trump is making plans to visit Parkland, Florida in the coming days. He was already scheduled to spend the weekend at Mar-a-Lago, which is less than an hour away. At the White House, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
All right, Blaine, we'll continue, of course, to bring you new developments over this next 90 minutes of news.
Also ahead at 5:15, defender Karen Drew is getting new insight from police on how to survive an active shooter, including the one item some teachers are now keeping in their desks. And then at 5:30, Paula Tutman is diving into the assault weapons debate and if this attack is changing sentiment about gun laws.
And then at Local 4 News at 6, we will introduce you to the hero teacher and Metro Detroit native who came face to face with the shooter yesterday at Stoneman Douglas High. We'll show you what he did that may have saved dozens of young lives. That's at 6.
All right, so now to the weather. And on any other day, you'd be seeing the Mount Clemens skyline there.
In fact, we could tell you it's just about anything.
It's
We're
anything.
sucked in
Take
by
your guess.
fog. It's all over town right now. Ben?
Well, that's where they did the moon landing, too, by the way, just in case you wanted to know. No, I'm kidding. We do have fog outside that is a quarter mile or less in some locations, especially south of 8 Mile. And this stuff is dense. This is going to slow you down on that drive home tonight. So be sure to give yourself extra time, or if you're expecting somebody, it is going to take them a while. The advisory runs until 7 o'clock south of 8 Mile. Fog's probably still going to be around after that, but it should be getting better later on. We get into the nighttime hours. We are getting a break from the rain right now, but there's another batch starting to move into parts of Lenawee County, and it's connected pretty much all the way back to the lake. So expect to get wet in the south zone, and that's where the fog is most dense right now. So that is not going to help as far as visibilities go. Temperatures sliding to the upper 30s by midnight tonight, and we will be keeping that fog around, but we're going below freezing for overnight lows, and that's going to cause more problems. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, Kim.
Okay, Ben. This is William and Michael Orblich. As they were coming back from the grocery store last night, they were killed in what police are calling an ambush attack. It happened outside their family home near Eaton and Ashton Streets on Detroit's west side. Our Sean Lay spoke to a man who lives at the home and has new details in the investigation.
Let me show you exactly where we are. That's the Southfield Freeway. This is Eaton Street. Ashton is in front. At 11 last night, the family was here unloading groceries from this car when two masked gunmen came running right up.
And I was right up on the screening porch. I shot right through the porch.
Thomas Anderson fired 3 times at 2 gunmen, but it was too late. 2 of the men he lived with in this home on the city's west side had already been shot near the backyard of the home.
The first thing I seen was Troy laying right here. And then when I heard more shots, then I fired back at him, which then they took off running. The other one fell right here. First he stood right here when he got hit, and then like a minute later he fell on the ground and he never got, either one of them didn't get back up.
He's talking about brothers Michael Teague Orblich, who family says worked at a local library, and his brother William Troy Orblich, who worked at a Walmart. Both lived here with their 80-year-old mother. Both shot dead as they were bringing in groceries last night around 11. Anderson lives in the basement and takes care of the home. He has a CPL and fired at those gunmen. He says this is a crime that he believes was not targeted, but a totally random attack.
These two people that did this, to my knowledge right now, they didn't get anything. So they killed 2 people for nothing.
Back here live, been working with Detroit police all day long for the very latest information on this. 2 gunmen out there right now, not anymore. 2 men, suspected gunmen, in custody right now for unrelated charges, but I'm told by investigators this could work towards charges for the shooting that took place just before 11 last night, Kimberly. So 2 men in custody right now.
Yeah. Sean, the family believes this was random. What do police say about that?
They agree. They right now, we just got off the phone with investigators. They say what it looks like right now, a completely random attack. When you're just getting groceries out of your car to go into the house that you live with your 80-year-old mother, that's absolutely chilling.
Yeah, just awful, just awful. All right, Sean, thanks. A crime today has Detroit police officers shaking their heads.
Yeah, a pair of scrappers caught red-handed, and as Tim Pamplin shows us, it is where they did it that's so troubling. Tim?
There you see one of the scrappers with his hoodie up. Police talking to him. They tell me that he and his partner in crime were scrapping this building behind me. Light fixtures, parts of the heating system. This all going down at the Detroit Fire Training Academy, the building on Warren at Lawton near 96 and Warren Avenue. Nowadays is only used occasionally, but after these scrappers are done with it, it'll be useless.
Everything that is of value, yes, and then they'll take it to a scrapyard and get pennies on the dollar for the metal.
It's not just a training academy, it's also what's over here. Yes, one of the main emergency communication towers for the city of Detroit. Today, light fixtures and radiators. Tomorrow, who knows? You're not taking it lightly.
No, not at all. These are felony crimes. These are felony crimes, and they're being prosecuted. People have gone to prison for this very thing.
So there you see, suspect number 2, handcuffed, taken into custody. Detroit police say this is a quality of life issue. If you see scrappers scrapping, whether it be a city building or a neighborhood home, give them a call. They have a division within Detroit police to deal with precisely this. On the west side, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Tim, a suburb has agreed to a $1.2 million settlement in a lawsuit filed by the family of a woman who was shot to death by a police officer. A Dearborn officer repeatedly shot 31-year-old Janet Wilson while she was in her car on a busy street in 2016. Police were pursuing her after a dispute had been reported at Fairlane Mall. No criminal charges were filed against police, and in fact, Dearborn denies liability, but is saying it is agreeing to the settlement to, in their words, amicably resolve the dispute. The grieving widow of a Detroit sergeant gunned down on the line of duty shares the intense pain his death has caused not just her, but their children too.
I can see the pain as he watches dads pick up his classmates from school, or knowing that his dad is not in the stands to watch him play soccer.
New tonight, what the killer says happened to him right before the shooting.
Also, police say he downloaded an app and committed a murder. Dark new details into a Michigan woman's death and who may be to blame coming up. Karen.
It's the conversation many are having today. What would you do if a shooter appeared at your school, your church, your work? Next, experts give advice from police on how to increase your odds of survival.
New at 6.
Neighbors are talking in Shelby Township and warning each other about a strange man spotted lurking around several homes. In fact, entered one of them. You'll hear from a homeowner who scared him off at 6 o'clock.
Plus, we're learning more about the effectiveness of this year's flu shot and its good news, bad news situation. We'll explain at 6 in Good Health.
It is a lesson that has now become critical for all of us to learn. The key ways to survive an active shooter situation.
And tonight, the defenders are showing you what you need to remember when panic ensues. Karen Drew is here now, and Karen, this is really important.
It really is. It's a conversation so many people are having today. Gone are the days of simply hiding when gunshots ring out at your school, work, or church. Experts say things have drastically changed since Columbine, and so have the rules for reaction. One day after the Florida school shooting, everyone's asking, what is the right way to react to an active shooter?
To get out of the building is always the best option.
Sterling Heights Police Chief Dale Jawadjakowski says running is always the first option. Hiding, another option. But if that shooter enters a classroom,
then you move to a whole nother level of fighting. And maybe that's throwing objects at the shooter, swarming the shooter, shooting off a fire extinguisher to blind the shooter so kids can get, out of that classroom.
As we know, shooters can target school, work, even places of worship.
I am not going to die today. This is not going to happen to me.
You're inside Bethesda Christian Church in Sterling Heights.
If there's a fire in the building, do we stay in that building?
The message from the pulpit?
You can run, you can hide, and you can fight. Those are three main options.
Some 250 church, school, and business leaders were at this meeting just last week to learn how to react.
I didn't want anyone diving under these chairs. These chairs don't offer any protection.
Experts say have a game plan, less panic, know where the exits are, and prepare to defend yourself.
Unfortunately, 10 of you dead is better than 200 of us dead.
We want to have a safe place of worship for everyone who comes to our church. We need to be diligent.
It's a conversation the chief says everyone should be having today.
You should be thinking of what you would do step by step by step.
And when I was talking to the chief, he said now it's gotten to a point where teachers are actually keeping canned goods at their desks because it's something easy that they can throw and distract. They also said, believe it or not, fire extinguishers. Yeah. Teachers have to have a plan, so at least if I can, cause some chaos here, some of the kids can get out. But that soundbite when he said at least if 10 dead are better than
200. It really is a shame that we even have to have this conversation.
It's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But at least have those conversations. Start to have a plan, plan a route of escape, because you have to have the conversation.
Right. Yeah. So sad. Okay, thank you, Karen.
Karen will be back here at 5:30. In the meantime, let's bring in Ben, who has been working on new ways to describe the shades of gray.
I know.
I would have gone with pea soup, but I feel that's kind of...
The snow is that really lovely shade of nasty right now. Yeah.
We're trying to wash that away, with the rain.
Good.
We've got more rain in the forecast, but unfortunately we're not done with that fog just yet. So let's start out with what's going on out there right now. Current temperatures, which are in the 40s, and this is sort of responsible for a lot of that fog. We've had the warm temperatures that have been melting the snow. That's been giving us the moisture that's just been hanging right near the surface. And with these temperatures staying above freezing for most of the night, it doesn't look like that fog is going to get better, at least much better, until we get much later into the evening towards the overnight hours. Right now, one of the warmest temperatures is 47 there in Pontiac. You look at this little band of fog, and you can see this is where those visibilities are 0, quarter mile, or about a half mile, all the way through central parts of Illinois. And eventually, we will see this fog go away, as we mentioned. But it has been gray all day. In fact, when you look above our skylight windows here at Local 4, just a whole lot of nothing out there. Look like somebody covered them up with paper. But we will be seeing some increased, better conditions as we get into tomorrow, with more sunshine as we get later on into Friday. So as far as the rain goes, it looks like it's mostly going to affect our south zone here over the next few hours. So some scattered showers as we get through the evening hours, but by midnight that should be pretty much out of here. Then we turn our attention to a cold front, which is heading down from the northwest. Eventually we will start getting some clearer conditions behind that front, but our actual lows are going to be set about 10 o'clock in the morning. So usually we see those around daybreak. Numbers continue to fall until we get towards 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and these numbers will be below freezing. So there's going to be a lot of icy spots out there for your morning commute and through the day, because we're really not going to get above freezing. We may just barely get to that mark officially at the airport, but at least we're going to get some sunshine in here, which is not something we've seen all day today. Here to look at temperatures, these are the 7 a.m. numbers, so again, not technically lows. Probably could get a little bit cooler than this, but we'll be at 27 in the city, officially at the airport at 27 as well. South zone, you'll be pretty much in the same spot, maybe a couple degrees warmer down here in Lambertville and Luna Pier. And then where that cold front comes through first, that's going to have a little bit more of an impact on how it feels in the morning. 23 in Genesee County, 24 in Novi and Brighton, and Ann Arbor, you're going to be at 25 at 7 a.m. North zone, pretty much the same, maybe slightly cooler up here in Sanilac County, with 22 expected here in Marlette, Sandusky, and Lexington. Plus, you add in the fact that we're going to see a little bit of a wind tomorrow, 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that takes these 20-degree temperatures, puts wind chills in the teens, and reminds you that we are still in February, despite the fact that we are going to have some sunshine around. And then temperatures do start to rebound through that 7-day forecast. We get back to the 40s by the end of the weekend, and then we see plenty of rain on Monday and Tuesday. In fact, when you consider what we have today, plus the rain we're expecting on Monday and Tuesday, all told, that could be 2 inches of rain. And the melting snow. And you've got a ground that's still frozen, and that's when you start getting flooding problems.
All the usual suspects could be in trouble again on that.
All right, Ben. Well, you can call it Furry Inspiration, helping lead local athletes to success. New tonight, we're introducing you to some Olympic pets.
But coming up first, police believe he used a dating app to murder. We've got that next at 5.
Across Michigan tonight, we're following stories from our state capital in Lansing.
Let's start this roundup, though, in Grand Blanc Township, which is where police say a woman was murdered in her home by a man she had met on a dating app. Renee McKelvey met a parolee named David Reed on Plenty of Fish. In fact, he moved into her house. McKelvey's co-workers went to her house after she didn't show up for work on Sunday and found her body, and there was a noticeable smell of natural gas in the house that investigators found came from a gas line that had been left on. Prosecutors believe Reed wanted to burn the house down with McKelvey in it. He's facing charges in connection now with her death.
Today is a deadline for medical marijuana license applicants to submit their paperwork. This is a pre-application that must show the medical marijuana facility will have local approval before it can get a state license. Proposed facilities must stop operating if they do not apply by February 15th, if they are denied a license, or if they are not issued one by June 15th. Violators will face law enforcement. State officials expect to begin issuing licenses by April. Now to news out of Lansing. Deadlines are approaching to get your fishing shanties off the ice.
Yeah, spring is still more than a month away, but the Michigan DNR has posted a removal schedule. Deadlines March 1st in the southern lower peninsula, March 15th in the northern lower peninsula, and March 31st for most of the UP. Shanties on Lake St. Clair have to be removed by sunset February 25th. And in fact, owners of shanties that then fall through the ice may be jailed or fined.
New at 5:30.
3 people are now facing several human trafficking charges. I'm Larry Sproul, and I'll tell you the punishment they're now facing and how young the victim is.
A cop killer face to face with the widow in court.
I can see the pain as he watches Dad.
She was able to forgive him, but his fellow officers were not.
He knew exactly what he was doing each and every time he pulled that trigger.
Why neither is happy with his sentence. Next.
We ask one question to gun enthusiasts, gun owners, and people who sell guns. Should the conversation or will the conversation change about the kinds of guns gun owners should be able to get their hands on?
Jeopardy!
Is the perception changing on one of the country's most debated issues? Tonight, we're diving headfirst into the debate over assault weapons. New information just into our newsroom about the mass school shooting in Florida. The sheriff in Broward County spoke just moments ago, and here is what we have learned.
The sheriff released a detailed timeline of the shooting rampage that began when the shooter was dropped off by an Uber at 2:19 p.m. 2 minutes later, the gunfire started and 14 people were killed. The shooter then left the school by mixing in with a group of students who were running away in fear. The sheriff says the suspect then went to a Walmart where he bought a drink at Subway.
He then went to a McDonald's for a few minutes before leaving on foot and was arrested without incident at 3:40 in the afternoon. Police say Cruz used an AR-15 assault rifle to carry out the attack, a gun that has become somewhat ubiquitous in attacks like this. So is this latest incident changing sentiment about the availability of assault weapons? Our Paula Tutman went to one store to talk to gun buyers to see if this situation changes anything in their eyes.
I got to tell you, not a lot of gun people were willing to talk about this one, but the folks at Top Gun in Taylor were.
Now I got my survival wrap right on the stock as well, which is kind of a good idea.
Mike Barber is the owner of Top Gun Shooting Sports in Taylor, and he thinks today is the absolute perfect day to talk about guns. And not just guns, but the kinds of guns that should be made available to the public to purchase legally.
It's a tragedy that these things happen, but everybody wants to jump to blaming a firearm or banning a firearm as the solution. It is not.
He is adamant that eliminating certain kinds of guns will do nothing to eliminate certain kinds of acts of violence.
If they don't get that firearm, they're going to use a different type of firearm. They're going to use a bomb. They're going to use a rental truck from Home Depot. They're going to figure out a way to do it. The real issues are the things nobody wants to address because they're a longer-term issue. It's mental health issues. It's the drug epidemic in this country. It's the breakdown of the family structure.
We wanted to hear from gun people, people who sell guns, own guns, buy guns, collect guns, use guns. Our question was simple and very focused. Should we be having a conversation about what kinds of guns should be available for legal purchase by civilians?
I got an AR-15. Well, the last thing on my mind is going out and shooting people up with it.
So then I asked a different question. Why semi-automatic guns, guns of war, guns that can kill many in one instance?
But they're not weapons of war. When the Second Amendment was created, firearms were muskets. The AR-15 is today's musket.
Brandon agrees.
Guns are tools. Guns are no dangerous than a hammer, a screwdriver, a knife, anything like that. It's all within the user.
Without fail, we heard time and time again, it is not the kinds of guns that are the problem. It is some of the people with access to those guns. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
And right now on ClickOnDetroit.com, we've posted everything you need to know about legal gun ownership in Michigan, and they aren't as straightforward as you might think. You can find the link right in the top stories section.
Well, police say these 3 right here did the unthinkable, abducting a 14-year-old girl and throwing her into the world of human trafficking. Larry Spruill was in the courtroom today as they were formally charged. And Larry, they all led very normal lives on the outside.
Yeah, Karen, you would never expect what these three were doing outside their normal lives. One of them worked at Chrysler full time. Now, the sad thing about this situation is that the victim is just 14 years old. Eric Brown, Brian Ash, and Grace Naraya Bayamanov appeared in front of a judge Thursday afternoon, facing a slew of human trafficking charges. Police say these three right here abducted a 14-year-old girl and forced her to have sex with multiple people during the time frame of January 16th and January 26th. Brown, seen here on the left, is facing various counts of human trafficking, criminal sexual conduct charges, and child sexually abusive activity charges. Police say when the victim refused to have sex with him, he told her every time she said no, somebody in her family would have to die. Now, the prosecution tells me although he's facing these severe charges, he lived a normal life as a full-time employee with Chrysler. He was denied bond. The prosecution says Brian Ash, seen here in the middle, would rent hotel rooms on his credit card for the men to have sex with the 14-year-old. He's charged with human trafficking with a minor, carrying a concealed weapon, and multiple counts of child sexually abusive activity. A judge granted him a $1 million bond. He also has to wear an ankle monitor. Now the last suspect is this 18-year-old woman on the right. Police say she would approach the women pretending to be their friend. She's charged with human trafficking of a minor and child sexually abusive activity. A judge granted her a $250,000 bond. She also has to wear an ankle monitor. Now, the three are due back in court on February 21st. You can count on us to be there when that happens. We're live in downtown Detroit tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Larry, you mentioned the suspect who works for Chrysler. Is he still employed?
Well, Karen, that's one of the excuses and the reasons that his attorney used for the judge to grant him bond. He says that his clients had to get back to work, but obviously the judge did not buy that. She denied bond. But again, the sad thing about this entire situation is that the surprising thing is, Karen, is that he has a family at home, a fiance and a little child.
Sad on so many different levels. All right, thank you, Larry. A Detroit man will stand trial in the death of a 2-month-old baby boy.
23-year-old Richard Dover Jackson allegedly murdered his nephew Cameron Johnson almost a year ago. The baby was brought to the hospital with a fractured skull, broken ribs, and bruises. He died shortly after arriving at the hospital. Dover Jackson faces charges including felony murder and child abuse. He'll be back in court on March 1st. On September 12, 2016, Ken Stile and other Detroit police officers were tracking a suspect on Detroit's east side. A chase ensued, and when Stile charged around a building, Marquise Cromer shot him in the chest. The shot did some damage, but Stile was expected to be okay. 5 days later, though, he died of a blood clot. Today, Cromer received his punishment.
A packed courtroom to see Marquise Cromer sentenced to 40 to 75 years for the murder of DPD Sergeant, now Captain, Ken Stile. Family, friends, and officers were emotional as his widow Joanne spoke.
Ken and I's youngest, Alexander, comes to the top of the stairs almost every single evening after he's tucked into bed. And he stands there and he calls down the stairs and he says, "Mommy, I miss Daddy." For the first 100 times, it was like a knife had cut another piece of my heart.
Cromer looked around quizzically and at times with an odd smile. Joanne Stile surprisingly forgave him, but was not about to let his or anyone else's mental illness be an excuse for killing an officer.
Whether anyone wants to admit it or not, there is a war against police officers. People have grown the ignorant ideal that cops are villains and it's okay to shoot, harm, and even kill cops.
Cromer, who was being chased by police after he shot his own father that night, told the judge he was hearing voices through it all.
I was hearing voices. I thought it was God, to be honest.
In the end, his lesser sentence did not sit well.
His sentence should be 4 letters. 4 letters that should read life. Because life is the amount of time he has sentenced this family to endure.
That plea deal included concurrent sentences for the carjacking and the weapons charges. And outside court, Joanne Stile told me that's the only thing that really bothers her here is the non-life sentence plea deal. Now her sons will have to relive this when they're in their 40s.
The Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority is providing free Narcan training and opioid overdose kits. Training is being offered on Tuesday, March 6th from 2 to 4 at the Detroit Recovery Project, but you must RSVP in advance. So far, almost 3,000 first responders, law enforcement agencies, and faith-based organizations have been trained and equipped with free opioid overdose kits.
As we've seen during the Olympics, figure skating is a powerful and beautiful sport.
It definitely is, and in this week's Heart of Detroit, Mitch Albom shows us how figure skating in Detroit is using it to shape the lives of young girls.
The concept began 20 years ago in Harlem, and just this past year, girls in Detroit are getting the opportunity to learn and grow through figure skating.
To expose young girls to the artisticness of skating, but more so expose them to education and leadership development and those kinds of things.
Figure Skating in Detroit, run by Dr. Geneva Williams, is an after-school program for girls aged 6 to 15. Held at the Jack Adams Ice Rink, the girls receive instruction both on and off the ice.
What is it about figure skating as the discipline or as a sport that lends itself to teaching lessons in academics and self-esteem?
Well, figure skating itself it's fun, it's artistic, but it's real hard. When you're on that ice, we know you're going to fall, but then you're going to get back up. So we use things like that to help teach our young girls about life lessons.
Lessons that prepare these girls for a bright future.
While we teach the artistic discipline of skating, all of our girls have to maintain a certain academic average to stay in the program. In New York, 100% of the girls graduate from high school and go on to college. Wow. We expect those same kind of results here in Detroit, and even better ones. Mm-hmm. We're really out to grow girls into leaders.
Dr. Geneva Williams and Figure Skating in Detroit are creating tomorrow's leaders right here in the heart of Detroit.
Such a great program. Meryl Davis is doing fundraising for this program. She has a GoFundMe campaign to help these skaters out.
We could ask her about it. Foreshadowing.
She is coming up. It also turns out little things can really help cancer patients.
Ahead in good health, how a smiley face and a thumbs up are going a long way to treating cancer.
And security officials issue an important warning tonight. New why they say Americans should not buy these specific smartphones.
And see, we weren't lying. Look at this. Look who's here, Olympic champion Meryl Davis, to show us how some furry friends are going to help motivate some of our favorite athletes. Stay with us.
New at 6.
Change of heart for one of our local experts who says she no longer believes we're saying the right things to our children when it comes to preparing them for potential school violence.
Affecting change in the city of Pontiac. I'm Everett Cassamy. Coming up, we'll take you inside of a town hall meeting where high school students had some pretty tough questions for the mayor of the city, hoping for change.
Watching the athletes compete in the Olympics, you can just imagine the intense pressure they must be feeling. And we've seen it a lot just in this Olympics alone.
I know. I don't even know if I can imagine that pressure.
It's
so stressful.
hardcore.
If anyone knows how to relieve that stress, and of course this always happens when you bring pets on, right, Meryl?
Yes.
It's Meryl Davis, Olympic gold medalist. She joins us now, and we were talking in the commercial break through stress and how you were able to get through the Olympics, and you made a big life change fairly recently by adding your little pup, Miss Bilbo, right?
Oh, yep, she's just gonna lay down now. So my fiance and I adopted her about 10 months ago. So she was sort of my researching her and dogs and watching puppy videos was sort of my way to get through the stress of getting ready for the Olympics. And so I told myself, you know, if you can get a dog after the Olympics. And so, you know, 3 years after Sochi, here she is, Miss Bilbo.
She's working the camera.
So when you interviewed our local athletes, did you notice anything like this?
I did. Well, I definitely noticed that I wasn't alone in finding pets a nice way of stress relief.
All right, let's
You know, we love them very much, and
They are just the best dogs.
Ice dancers Maya and Alex Shibutani are competing in their second Olympic Games. They train hard and love coming home to Lily and Poe.
Two dogs. We still call them puppies, but they're not.
They're 7 years old, they're Maltese, and they are very, very sweet, and we're so happy that we're able to spend time with them after spending long days at the rink.
So cute. This is Henry and Stella, beloved pets of Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, another local ice dance team competing in their second Olympic Games.
So what is it about the companionship of dogs is such an important part of your lives?
They're just so loving and happy.
They don't care if you get first or if you get 10th. I think, you know, they're just happy. They're just happy to see you.
A little puppy love goes a long way. U.S. Figure Skating actually brought in puppies during the U.S. National Championships in January. Athletes snuck in snuggles with them before and after they competed.
I need to be playful right now.
Lily and Poe are often a part of Maya and Alex's social media posts. The two dogs are so popular, they're sponsored.
They and us are working with Milkbone, and Milkbone is a brand. They believe that dogs are able to inspire the best of us. And in this year and every year when we're trying to go out and be the best that we can be, it's really nice that we can come home and have that support that they give us.
It really is another support structure.
It really is. I mean, there's so much pressure going into the Olympic Games. You know how much is on the line. So having something that loves you so unconditionally and just can snuggle up next to you, it's unlike anything else.
Whether or not you win gold or perhaps you don't, or you know what I mean, but it is that love.
They'll love you anyway.
They do.
will love you no matter what. That's right.
By the way, before coverage begins tonight, make sure to tune in to the O-Zone right here on Local 4. We will get you ready for all of tonight's action, including the men's figure skating short program and the skeleton final. The O-Zone at 7:30 right here on Local 4.